School is not for everyone, but if you get through nursing school, hooray! Now you want to be an NP? I thought about it too. Oh my God. Have a story to tell you. Hella tired of working with those type of nurses. Tired. Night shift can get very cold. Oh, something about the temperature just dropped, and the whole building in the hospital is on cemetery mode. Feel like you're in the graveyard. I guess that's why they call it the graveyard shit. It was so cold one night. I was extremely cold. And I usually wear long sleeve and everything. But I said, let me go find a jacket, because people leave their jacket. And I had a jacket in my locker. But apparently I picked up the wrong jacket. Look at the jacket, it says d.n.p. Why is it that? Why is the d.n.p. on the floor as a bedside nurse? Where is the other travel nurses? Are they taking over? Are they taking our spots? Or is it a scam? An NP scam? I went around the corner and I said to the nurse, I didn't know you was a d.n.p. I had to say it, because I've never heard of d.n.p. I had to look it up first. Google tell you they're a doctor. So apparently, for those of you who doesn't know what this NPE means, nurse practitioner, they're above the RN with a BSN. They have their master, and a d.n.p. has their doctorate. So I was wondering, I made a mistake a while ago with another nurse, and she had said that she just graduated as a nurse practitioner, d.n.p. And apparently at the time I didn't know, and she corrected me. She said doctor, nurse practitioner. And it's good. I congratulate her. I told her I was proud of her. I have no jealousy in my heart for her. But my issue is when I was going to become a nurse practitioner, yes, I wanted to get it on the bandwagon. I want to be a follower. I wanted to be competing with the other nurses, because the majority of nurses that I'm seeing now or who was with me, it was like one competition after the other. And yes, I got caught up in it too. I'll be lying if I said I didn't. I don't have that. At the time, see, I'm stumbling with my words right here. So anyway, so everybody was trying to go to school and better themselves, which is fine. And then NP, nurse practitioner, everybody wanted to become one, including me. They frowned on you if you would take a career as a nurse educator. I know somebody that just graduated, and the things that they were saying about this person, she went to school, she got her master, but she didn't get her master in nurse practitioner. She got her master's education. I guess she's going to teach. Anyway, after they told me it was to be $42,000 just for, I'm not sure if it was a semester or the whole year. But when I calculated in my mind, and when I start seeing my eyes open and I see that I'm still working with nurse practitioners, and now I'm working with d.n.p. doctors on the floor as a regular staff nurse, I started to question, do I really want to be a nurse practitioner? It's not worth it. The money, student loan, I have to pay for. And I know quite a few nurse practitioner and some who has the d.n.p. And I asked them, why are you travel nurse on the floor, bedside nurse? Why aren't you in your career? Why are you not in your field? Now, for some nurses, they may say, oh, they taking up travel nurses' spot. They said they make more. That's what they told me. They make more as a staff nurse than a nurse practitioner. Excuse me. Phone call. Let it go. You know them spammers. Scam artists call at night. Anyway, so I'm like, why would you go to school? You spend all that money and you back on the floor working side by side with me. Well, let me tell you something. They may be working with me, but they have this, they're not going to do much. If you know what, you only hear it from me. The majority of the nurses that I have seen that are in school for nurse practitioner, I have nothing against African nurse, but most of them, they have, the first time when you meet them, the husband has these great jobs. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're engineer, they're pharmacists. Why can't Black Americans be something or have a husband in that caliber? I'm saying it because I often wonder, how is it possible that all the Africans that I've met, either the male or the female, their partner has these high position, but they're side beside me, working harder than me, working to go to Africa, get some of that mojo. Like I said, why would I go to school if I'm going to come back and work on the floor? But I noticed that a lot of NPs are, I don't know if they're coming back to the floor because the challenge of, let me tell you what I think about this. It's very hard, the title, you're still a nurse. And once you're a nurse, it seems like you can't get away from the bedside. That's how I see it. Some of them are opening up clinics. Hooray for them. That's good. But the majority that I see that graduate, get their masters, and then now a lot of them is, when I was trying to do it, they said, don't be a regular, don't be a family nurse practitioner. Everybody want to be a psych NP now. That's the thing. They say it makes a lot of money. So are you doing it for the money and realize that? Because I know when you graduate from school, like when I went from LPN to RN, I'm still making LPN salary. The first 2 or 3 years, I didn't start seeing the RN salary till close to 5 years. So it's like I'm starting over. So I'm thinking maybe it's the same thing. So they're saying that maybe they need to just work the floor and get some experience. But how can you get experience in your field if you're still doing what I'm doing? Some of them, I am tired of working with them. Some will help you, but the majority, because once you get to that level, you're a doctor, you're a nurse practitioner, you are above the RN, you're giving me orders, but you can't give me orders when we're working together. But they think, you'll see them on the phone, you'll see them sitting away to asking you questions like they don't know anything and they've been a nurse for so long. I just can't get over it. I don't know what is the scam. Are they telling us, or are they making the majority of nurses feel like if they move up, they making more money and more prestige? I don't get it. I don't get it why they still on the floor. I want somebody to let me know. And I'm not knocking you, but don't you think you should be working at CVS? Don't you think you should working at Rite Aid or in a doctor's office, in the clinic, on the med surge floor? Why work as a staff nurse? Travel nurses, we don't make that much. During the crisis, we making something, but they still on the floor. That's my beef. My beef. Because it's puzzling. And the thing about it, even though they work in the floor, they're hiding the jacket. I just happen to know because I picked up the wrong jacket. So when I went to ask her, I said, "Oh, you a nurse practitioner?" Dr. d.n.p. d.n.p. Doctor of nurse practitioner. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And so they have an attitude about that. But I respect anyone that want to go to school and uplift themselves. But if you want to uplift yourself, if I'm going to spend all that money, I'm going to have to learn it in my own field. I'm going to come off the floor. And some of the nurses, like this one guy, when you travel with him and you're working with him, you're working by yourself. And that's the one that's want to be a nurse practitioner. Not just any kind of nurse practitioner. He wants to be a psych NP because they make a lot of money. He doesn't do much. He disappears. You know those type that disappear when you in the trench of trouble and you're looking for them? They never around? That's who wants to be an NP. More prestige, more money, tell you what to do, look down on you, and that's it. So when I work with them, I don't be checking people's jacket. Sometimes they slip. Sometimes they say they're NP. Some I know from Facebook that they have that degree, but I'm still seeing them and just looking. I don't say nothing to them. Most of the ones from like Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, the deep southern state, Kentucky, they still on the floor with you. I think because in Mississippi and all those states, they're going to make what an RN salary is. $30 an hour. So don't be fooled when they say, oh, they be online on Facebook saying, or YouTube, I made like 350,000. Yeah, you made that because you was one of the crisis nurse, regular nurse. You wasn't an NP. They weren't brave enough to go tackle New York. And you just hear it from me. Most of them was working on the floor. I wasn't brave enough to tackle New York. But I did it. I just scooped my skill from LPN and whatever I learned in the nursing home. That's what teach me from Philadelphia. Philadelphia nursing home was like a mini hospital. Oh God, there was one system near the project. Oh, those nursing home was terrible. You were working like you in the hospital. Blood, IVs, sewers big as this. It was just so much. And it's not like you getting 5 patients, like in the hospital, or even 6 or 8. You getting it will be 60 patient on the unit, and one LPN has one side, so I had 30 patients, the other one had 30. So we, as LPN in the nursing home in Philadelphia, it was like working in a hospital. Busy, busy, busy. So I pulled from those skills to make New York happen, to keep me safe anywhere I go anyway. So I admire those nurses, but my thing is NP or d.n.p, sorry. When you on the floor with us, don't look down on us little nurses, BSN or sometime associate nurses. Just assimilate yourself. You don't have to look above us or look down on us. We're in this together. But apparently you didn't get the memo. I remember in Nevada working with this nurse, and the only way I knew she was a nurse practitioner, because she told everybody, I'm a nurse practitioner, and she was from Africa. So you know how they are. They're very entitled for respect, but you just hear it from me. So she was telling everybody that she's a nurse practitioner. She live in Alpharetta, where the money is. I didn't say anything. I was just so quiet. And I was trying to tell her, we were on the psych unit, and she said she hadn't worked on the floor for a long time. This is a true story. So this nurse, as a nurse practitioner, you could tell she still believed that she's a nurse practitioner. The contract says she was an agency nurse, a regular nurse, just like me, on the floor. But in her mind, she was a nurse practitioner going for her d.n.p. So her thoughts and her thinking, she was running behind the doctor, the regular medical doctor, the regular psychiatrist, because she's a nurse practitioner. But she came in as a regular nurse. So she's still in that, mode. And when she was going to the patient, I said, you wearing your hair and everything, probably you need to cover your head, and you don't need to, go in at the patient. The patient seemed like he was going to escalate. But she was like how a doctor would talk to the patient. That's how she's talking to the patient, like she was the doctor. Lo and behold, things, she didn't think she could chart. She was charting as if she was the nurse practitioner in the building. She was doing everything like she's still in her role, but she's just a regular nurse. Didn't feel she should give meds, so I was the one they make give meds, because she befriend the supervisor, she befriend the charge nurse, she befriend the unit manager, and something about the way they do it. They have a way of, I would say that the people in power seems to like more of them, because they're very charming and they can get over, and they seem to have it easy. It didn't bother me. So she was ignoring me, because I was just a little BSN nurse and she was a nurse practitioner. She didn't do any much. And I think I was off that day, and I heard that same guy was telling her, stop running in the room and talking to the patient. Let the doctor do his work. Let the psychiatrist, that's his job. And they have a nurse practitioner there. Let them do their job. You're a regular nurse. Just do it as a nurse. Next day I come, I heard that the patient spit on her. The patient throw his pee in his face, talk to her all kind of way. When I was telling her, stand back. They have it. She wants to be important. She was charting like if she was a nurse practitioner. Now, And I'm telling you this. And these are mistakes that nurses make, and it may cost you your license, and it depends on the facility. And you need to listen. If you even get anything from this video, and you trying to go, or you are a nurse practitioner and you still in an active role as a nurse practitioner, that's like me saying, okay, I'm going to school for a doctor. And I'm acting like I'm a doctor. I'm charting as a doctor. You could lose your license. See, she didn't come out of that role. I don't even think, she said she hasn't been on the floor. She had her own practice, she told me, here in Alpharetta. She had her own practice, but I guess through the pandemic crisis, she closed it down, and now she's on the floor. But she's still in that mode. And it could possible, I didn't stick around, when the hospital found out, they were saying, who is this nurse practitioner? Keeps, because Epic, they put you in, nurses have access to certain things, and doctors chart certain place, and nurse practitioner is in the same place with the doctor. So the hospital keeps seeing this nurse with her title. She said NP. So she's in that role. And I think they had to call Epic to shut her down so she didn't get to use the computer for a while and give her a warning. That was nice of the hospital. Some people won't get away with that. They would probably lose their license. That if she doesn't, whatever the contract said, that's what she came in as, a regular staff nurse, not as a nurse practitioner, or, my bad, d.n.p. She need to just chill and act like she a nurse. Why I'm laughing? Good. Not the way you treat me. Karma. And then the next time I saw her, her head was wrapped up. She was protected this time. She came in with those, lab coat and nicely dressed on a psych unit with I'm on my, you can spit on this all you want. I'm just going to throw away the uniform and go to Walmart and get a cheap one. I'm not dressing up in clothes, and it wasn't even the clothes. I'm not saying the clothes were nice, but I don't know. She was trying to impress some guy or whatever, the way she looked. Didn't want to listen. They don't want to listen to little Patrice. I don't have no knowledge. They know more than I do, So, just be forewarned. Keep yourself in your title. I'm just straying away. It's easy. LPN could do it. LPNs in school for RN, they start signing RN. They ain't even take their boards. They're not legally. You're not legally a RN. And whatever role that you hire for, because some RN take their boards, but the contract they're in says LPN because they just passed the board while they were in the contract. You don't switch over and say, oh, I'm going to sign off. Patrice M. Foster, LPN. Once I became an RN, I gave up that LPN. And so I'm in that role. So when you address the boards, they're going to say, okay, you not really, why are you going on? They didn't hire you as a nurse practitioner, d.n.p. They hire you as a regular staff nurse. So getting back to this, is it a scam? Or maybe the school's pushing out so much nurse practitioner that jobs are so hard to find here in the South. I know in Philadelphia, nurse practitioner, I'm not sure about d.n.p. But nurse practitioner, they mostly work in corrections. And some in CVS and Walgreens. I didn't mean to disrespect you if you think that way. They are in CVS and Walgreens and all those Rite Aids all over. So I just wanted to, it was just something I needed to talk about.